Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here, and I just want to share real quick about 3 things I am doing right now to prepare myself for Sumeru and why it matters that you might want to do it too. Now with a new region being released, there will be new talent materials, weapon materials to farm. And recently when I asked around the community, I found that most players now are spending their resin min-maxing artifacts for characters that are already very well built. While it's not wrong, I think some players are forgetting that the resource constraint when Sumeru comes around will feel very frustrating for players who are not well prepared. In the worst case, some of you might even be tempted to waste precious Primo Gems just to resin refresh in order to get the resources you need to build new units, possibly because of the immense excitement you get from Sumeru's release. And this video aims to help players who care about saving and planning ahead to be ready for Sumeru. You all know we don't waste time on this channel, so let's jump on right in with number 1. Most of us know to save Primo Gems for a character we really want in future, but less of us actually bother saving resin. Having Primo Gems but no resources is like buying a car with no money for gas. It takes about 3 to 5 million Mora to get a brand new character up to max ascension, also depending on what talent levels you stop at. To get a character from 1 to 90, you also need roughly about 400 heroes wits, and this 5 mil and 400 wits will take us roughly about 16 days of free to play resin to farm, and this also assumes that you skip every single weekly boss. On top of that, we also need another 600 to 900 Mystic Enhancement ores, depending if it's a 4-star weapon or 5-star weapon. With the new region being released, we likely also will have these new craftable weapons similar to the ones we have in Inazuma. Saving up on these Mystic Enhancement ores is important because we can only craft a max of 30 of them a day in the blacksmith. For those who are really low on rocks and are too lazy or busy to do a full daily farm route, I'll link my favorite 8-minute chasm mining route above, which gives over 100 rocks and is super efficient to farm. My plan personally is just to save about 20 mil Mora and 1000 heroes wits by Sumeru, which will give me a pretty good buffer for at least a few patches in. Of course, I'm also saving right now on fragile resin so I can burn them in the new talent domains and weapon material domains come Sumeru. Number 2. Saving 5-star for the artifacts. Now this one is not as intuitive as the first one because we never had a situation where a new element was introduced to Genshin so far. With Dendro being introduced into the game, so will Dendro damage bonus goblets, which currently no one has in their inventory. For those of you who already have a good stash of general resources mentioned earlier in the first point, keeping the further 5-star artifacts instead of using them as EXP to level up other artifacts will be very useful once Sumeru launches. You can then take all these fodder artifacts and dump them into the Noblesse Strongbox to have a much higher chance of getting a Dendro damage bonus goblet compared to someone that didn't save the 5-star fodder artifacts. In a sense, for every 3 fodder artifacts that you are saving, is basically equals to about 20 resin worth of chance to get a Dendro damage bonus goblet in 3.0. Saving them now is kinda like saving resin to spend on artifacts in Sumeru in the future. It's still not guaranteed, but higher chances mean you have more resin to spend on areas that you really want to. Number 3. Reactions and Elemental Mastery. Personally for me, I'm saving up any Elemental Mastery gear I find for Sumeru and artifacts like Thundering Fury, which makes interesting reaction-based team comps. Burning scales pretty well with EM, and if adding Electro gives both Overloaded and a Dendro reaction, we could see some pretty interesting comps utilizing EM and comboing reactions in 3.0. This channel doesn't talk about leaks, but there are some speculations already existing on the internet on certain elements that are likely to have reactions with Dendro. For a start, I'll work on building pyro supports since burning is more or less already in the game, such as Bennett, Xiangling if you haven't, and even Thoma for his off-field pyro application if you have spare resources. Personally, I built him with EM and a Ketane cross spear, so a burning Thoma is actually pretty interesting for me to try come Sumeru's release. And other than that, Electro supports are definitely the next one on my list, since EM based Electro is something hardly considered meta, since the multiplicative reactions of Vaporize and Melt are just way too strong. But a combination of multiple reactions from Electro could actually balance the skill, especially if the base character scales off EM. Cookie, Ye, and Lisa are the first characters that come to mind. I hope you found these tips helpful, and do share your thoughts with us too in the comments below. Cheers, and EODGamer signing off.